We found out that what the Palestinians wanted above everything was just to have some supplies of food and water and so forth. So we took the question to Jerusalem and asked the Israelis if they would accept the same ceasefire that we had before. And they said that they would only supply about 15% of normal supplies to the Palestinians. And of course that was not acceptable to the Palestinians. So it was, if we could have worked out a similar agreement, then the entire attack on Gaza would have been completely unnecessary.
Israel maintains it has no choice. Rockets are hitting its civilian population, and that it has to do something. It has to act. This was what it had to do.
I agree with that. And if the rockets were falling on me, I would certainly, on my country, I would certainly respond. But there's a level of response. You know, the rockets, the only way that rockets can come into Gaza is through the tunnels that are dug under the wall between Gaza and Egypt. And I think if the Israelis wanted to make sure there were no more rockets, they could have bombed and destroyed those tunnels. But to launch an attack, as the Israeli Defense Force says, against 1,000 targets, that was about 3 or 4 days ago, and killed 800 or more Palestinians and destroy 17 mosques and the American school and so forth, and to invade Gaza was completely unnecessary in my mind. I think that there is a glimmer of hope coming out of this terrible tragedy that's taking place even today in Gaza, and that is that the international community is finally getting involved in what's going on in Gaza. And that is that we need to have supplies to the 1.5 million people who've been starved there in Gaza for the last 2.5 years. Secondly, the international community needs to assure that when another ceasefire is negotiated under their pressure, then it will be publicized, and both sides, Israelis and the Palestinians, will have to certify that they will abide by it. And then there needs to be a monitoring of the situation in Gaza. That is, an adequate supply of food and other necessities going into the starving people. Secondly, no rockets coming out of Gaza. And third, no permission or entryway for additional weaponry to come into the Palestinians who are living in Gaza.
You were at the White House this week, and you sat down with President-elect Obama and former presidents right there. Did the issue of talking to Hamas come up?
I can't reveal what happened. The day before we had the 5-president meeting, I spent a good bit of time just privately with the President-elect Obama. The only thing I can say is what he said publicly, and that he will take an active role in trying to bring peace to the Middle East very early in his administration, and not wait until the last year, as was the case with President Bill Clinton and President George W. Bush. They waited until the last year, which is really too late.
Does just meeting with someone, your enemies, really raise their stature? Do you really surrender your own principles to talk with them?
No, I don't think so. I did this when I was president. You can't remember now, but it was not a common thing when I first became president for me to talk to the Arab side. So I think it's better for the United States, as the most powerful nation on earth, to have an open mind about meeting with those with whom we do have differences and discussing the issues with them and letting them know that we respect the people of our nation even though we disagree with their leaders. I think that's the best approach, and I'm very proud of the fact that Barack Obama has many times during this past campaign promised that he will do exactly that.